Oh man. Thank you guys. The sound was not coming in. So I'm gonna start all of this over. I appreciate everybody tuning in. The sound was not coming in. Well, the sound is here now. I appreciate you all you guys coming in. We're gonna start this thing all the way over because I talked for 3 minutes with no sound on my microphone. So I'm assuming now that I have sound on my microphone. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Norwood, for letting me know. Again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Saturday Morning Live. It is the Splash Cast. I am one half of the dynamic duo that is known as Reggie, your HBCU homeboys. The other half, Norwood, is under the weather a little bit. He's a little under the weather. And also, he is going to a founding member of the dive team, Terrence, going to one of his events. It's going to his wedding. So we want to send shout outs and congratulations to Terrence as well. Shout out to the rest of the dive team in New York. Welcome, guys. Welcome. It is the best time of the year. I got to say all of this all over because if you're just now tuning in, I did not have the sound on. Shout out to you, Sai Abi Ram. I appreciate it for letting me know. We have it is the sports equinox for American sports fans. It is football. It is time for football. It is time for basketball. Basketball starts in October. You get baseball, you get hockey, you get all of the sports at one time. So we are excited. Y'all know what it is with the Splash Cast. Football season is our season. HBCU football season, homecoming season is for us as well as NFL football. So before we get started, I want to go ahead and let you know that we bet beers on games. So we bet 6-packs. We have what you call the beer of the month. I am keeping a tally of all of the 6-packs all of the beers won right now. I believe Russ has 12. Norwood has some, as well as I lost 2, so I'm actually still at 0. So whoever wins the beer tally at the end of the year for football season will get a prize as well as a trophy. So make sure you guys let us know if you're going to bet beers and if you're going to join. Also, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, as well as make sure you join the Splashcast versus the World broadcast and Instagram group on Instagram so that you can bet beers too. And if you win the bet, if you win overall, we definitely will. I'm sure about that. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. With that being said, man, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get started with college football first. So before we start announcing games, I did want to announce to you guys that we have gone into partnership with Mikey B, who is the founder and owner of the personal vlog Party of Two Brew Crew, where he goes around to different breweries and he also reviews different IPAs and different types of breweries as well. He's very well known on the beer scene in Atlanta. And he is also going to pick and announce our beers of the month. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and go to Mikey B, and he's going to let us know what our beer of the month is.
What's happening, people? It's your boy Mikey B from Party of Two Brew Crew. And I teamed up with the Splashcast and Dive Team Network to bring you September's Beer of the Month. This month, the beer comes from a local brewery out in Decatur, Georgia called Inner Voice Brewing. This one here is called Double Memory Farm. And this bad boy is coming in at 8% ABV. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what's in this beer. So we have Citra hops, Mosaic hops, Citra Cryo, and Mosaic Cryo hops. And then something called Citra hop oil. I'm not really familiar with what that is, but hey, it's in there. So we gonna get this double IPA a crack open and see what we got. Now that I got this bad boy poured up, let's go ahead and taste it. Let me tell y'all something. Like I said, they got the best hops in the game. This one right here, super smooth. Cannot tell it's 8% ABV at all. It's hoppy, it's citrusy, it's sweet as well. I get those tropical notes on the back end. So if you ever find yourself in Decatur, go ahead and stop by Inner Voice Brewing, grab you a 4-pack of whatever is in that fridge, and get home and get to cracking while you watch your favorite team kick some butt. It's your boy Mikey B. You can find me on all platforms as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Everything's at Party of the Number 2 or TWO Brew Crew. I'll have everything right under the captions. Get at me. I do everything craft beer. It was great to be on this. It's back to you guys over at the studio. Cheers.
All right, all right. So that was Party of Two Brew Crew with Mikey B. He is going to be our beer aficionado. As I told you before, make sure you guys go run it up, like, follow, and subscribe. We're going to be working with him at Dive Team Media Network here. He has a lot of good content. He's getting back in the content game after taking a break. You know, life happens the same way with me. So we're back here. So, and those in the comments, I will definitely relay it off to Mikey and the Party of Two Brew Crew to make sure that they find maybe some non-alcoholic beers as well. There's a plenty of non-alcoholic cocktails that you could partake in, but you have to go to Party of Two Brew Crew and make sure you follow, like, and subscribe everything over there as well. We'll be doing a lot of partnerships with them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. It is time. It is time. All right, we're going to go with the ACC first. We're going to go with college. We are not, now for those that are new here, we're not about to talk about all these money games. There's a whole lot of money games out here that we're not about to go over. So we're going to go over the games that we think are the best to discuss for this week. And then we'll also go over most of our HBCU games as well, because you know we are the HBCU homeboys, product of HBCUs, families, products of HBCUs, third and fourth generation HBCU graduates. So with that being said, let's go to the ACC. We got Illinois versus Duke. Now, listen, Illinois, again, the Big Ten is trying to flex their muscle as probably the best conference in college football. And the SEC, of course, and we've talked about it, you know, we're homers. We've talked about the SEC in being the best in college football. But the forgotten conference is the ACC. This is the time for Duke to be able, with UNC being so terrible, so terrible last weekend, Duke can really pull off a shocker and beat Illinois. If you go back to our YouTube channel at the Splashcast, we did a full breakdown of every conference. We talked about every team, the SEC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and the ACC. So go back. We talked about how Illinois, with their schedule, is technically like a sleeper in the Big 10. So they have to take care of business. Here, I'm going to pick Illinois. My partner picked Illinois. Splashcast is going with Illinois. Let us know if you're going to pick anybody else. If you want to go with Duke, we are willing to make this bet. Next up, very interesting game in the state of Texas. Baylor versus SMU. Now, Baylor is fresh off a close loss to Auburn, but they didn't look terrible. And now they go against SMU of the ACC, who was the darling of the ACC last year. I believe they won it, right? If they didn't win it, Clemson won it. But I know they made it to the playoff, even though they got smoked by Penn State. So SMU versus Baylor. This is a chance for SMU to really announce themselves this season. You know, with NIL and the transfer portal now, every season is basically a new season. There really isn't any carryover from the year before. So I'm picking SMU here just because I don't believe in Baylor, but I believe this game is going to be a lot closer than it really is. Let's go. Iowa versus Iowa State. If you know the history of the Big 12, you know that Iowa has been dominant. They put out almost probably the most players in the NFL from that program. They put out good DBs, they put out good linebackers, they put out good tight ends. They are the team. Now, the thing about Iowa is they can never score, Shawty. They cannot score at all. So I here am going to go with Iowa State. The Splashcast is going with Iowa State. Here's why. Even though Iowa does put all of these teams and all these players in the pros, when it comes to them being able to score points and move the ball down the field in chunks in today's football, in today's era of football, they don't do it. They had 200 yards of offense in their spring game, and they thought that this was going to be the revolutionary offense that they needed. I think Iowa State is tough enough to stick with them, and they're at home, and I think they can score more points than Iowa. So that's why we're picking Iowa State here. All right, moving on in the Big 12/Big 10. Oklahoma State versus Oregon. Mike Gundy. This is the you guys spend too much money bowl. You remember Mike Gundy earlier in the week said, hey, Oregon spends $30-40 million. And Dan Lanning, head coach of Oregon, responded to Mike Gundy and said, well, we spend money to win. Y'all stay cheap to lose and have excuses. So there's a little bit of spice, a little bit of spiciness in the pregame before this game between Oklahoma State and Oregon. I don't care how spicy you think it's going to be Oklahoma State. Y'all about to better go get some Tums. Oregon is about to put belt to ass on y'all today in Eugene. And Oregon is thinking about finally breaking through and trying. This is probably the best time for a team like Oregon or any team really to win their first national championship. This is the best time. Oregon, for all intents and purposes, is an SEC team in the Big Ten. You've got to figure out a way to beat Ohio State. They got those dudes. You got to figure out a way to beat Penn State. They got those dudes. And apparently Michigan, I don't know if you play Michigan, but you may have to see him. Bryce Underwood, bro, he looks. We'll get to it. Anyway, we picking Oregon by a touchdown, by a field of touchdowns. I think Oregon wins by 21 points. Absolutely crushed. Shout out to my under the weather co-host Norwood, definitely believing with me. All right, Kansas and Mizzou. Listen, Kansas, they have their quarterback. He's back. He's cool. I like him. Missouri, I don't. They have the transfer portal. We talked about some of the transfers they got in. Sorry, guys. I was pouring my beer of the month right here. Make sure y'all go party at 2 Brew Crew. They have a lot of transfers over there in Missouri, including Damon Wilson, who came from UGA. I really, really think that Missouri is going to beat Kansas. I think Kansas will keep it close for about a quarter, but I just don't think Kansas is deep enough to deal with Missouri. But if there is a team to get upset, it's probably Missouri in the SEC. It's probably Missouri or Bama. But hey, also y'all that are in the comments, make sure y'all forward this live. Go ahead and send it out to everybody via DM. Send it to Splashcast versus the World. Send it to everybody for us so that we can get in, because I definitely want to bet these beers. So back to this weekend, back to the Big 12. We picking Missouri over Kansas. Then we also have Arizona State versus Mississippi State. Now, look, man, we are SEC bias over here. I am not afraid to admit. But Mississippi State, they are the bottom of the barrel. Now, of course, they were kind of left in shambles with the passing of their head coach a couple years ago. So they're trying to really pick up the pieces as he had them going. Mike Leach, as he really had them on the upward trajectory. He went from, he had them going. And once he passed away, they've been trying to pick up the pieces ever since. And Arizona State is Arizona State, man. I have Arizona State being Mississippi State in a game of mid. This is the mid game. But I still think, unfortunately, the SEC loses this game against the Big 12. And then, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, brings us to the game of the day. The game of the day is going to be Michigan versus Oklahoma. I'm sorry, Michigan, Ohio State, end of the year. Michigan versus Oklahoma. These were two teams that initially, and if you, like I said, go back and listen, we didn't really believe in either one of these teams. I do believe in Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood, man. Now it was against New Mexico, the Lobos, and money games are for you to look good and build hype. But Michigan looks damn good, bro. Well, Underwood looks damn good. And the running game looks damn good. I will say the receivers probably leave a little to be desired, but Michigan looks good. Oklahoma, on the other end, I expected them to be terrible, not because I think they're a terrible team. It's more because their schedule is absolutely ridiculous. There's a reel out on the Splashcast on Instagram. Go follow us on the Instagram at the Splashcast, where we talk about Oklahoma's schedule, where they played 9 top 25 teams without including Michigan. Remember, Michigan was unranked at the time. So now if Michigan looks good, this will be their 10th top 25 team. Now, some may say it won't be the 10 top 25 teams because Alabama will be out of the top 25 by the time you play them. But that's still Alabama, bro. Even though they may not be good, they may not be whatever you think they are, they still got 4, 5, and 6 stars. I know it's only 5 stars, but some of them dudes are 6 stars. They got 4, 5, and 6 stars, so it's still Alabama. Oklahoma is a better team than I thought they were. And at home with Brent Venables, giving time a whole year for Brent Venables to cook up a defense against Michigan, I'm not so sure that Oklahoma can't pull this off. Am I gonna do it, y'all? Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna pick Oklahoma over Michigan? Michigan is the overwhelming favorite, if I'm not mistaken. Not overwhelming favorite, but Michigan is the favorite. Let's see. Am I gonna do it, y'all? Oklahoma is actually the favorite by 5.5, 43 points. Oklahoma 18, Michigan 15. This is actually a really good game. Am I gonna do it, y'all? We gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. If I do it, y'all, somebody needs to bet me right now. I'm taking Oklahoma. Oklahoma. I don't know if this is a 18 versus 15. I don't know if this is an upset, but let's do it. Bet me. Bet me. 6-pack. 6-pack. Somebody put it in the chat. Somebody let me know. Bet me the 6-pack right now. We just told you what the beer of the month is. I'm taking Oklahoma over Michigan. Look me in my eyes when I tell you I ain't scared. What's up? Let me know in the comments. Let's go. So I'm taking Oklahoma over Michigan in the slight upset. Let's move on to the rest of the SEC. We got Ole Miss versus Kentucky. Normally, you wouldn't really care about this game, but you remember Ole Miss was on the brink with Jackson Dart, who is now with the Giants, was on the brink of going to the playoff last year. Well, Ole Miss lost to Kentucky, and then they lost to Florida in 2 games that they were supposed to win, and that was the end of the season for Lane Kiffin. To me, this is an important year for Ole Miss. We talked about it. I'm going to keep saying that because I really want y'all to go back and listen to all of we put a lot. How do I bet you? Adrian Torres, how do you bet me? Let me know. Go to the Splashcast, Instagrams, go to the Splashcast. All one word. Hit us in the DM and let us know that you would like to take that bet for a 6-pack. All right? You let me know, and if you really want to join the Splashcast versus the World discussion, I'll put you in the group as well. I appreciate you, Adrian. Let me know. But back to it. Ole Miss versus Kentucky. This is a crucial year. That's what I was saying. This is a crucial year for Ole Miss. I think Lane Kiffin is primed to go somewhere else. There's already news of Lane Kiffin being looked at to replace Kalen DeBoer if they run him out of Alabama. They had Kirby on their list, but I can't for the life of me see Kirby Smart leaving Georgia. But thank you, Norwood. See, this is why we need staff. But anyway, I think Lane Kiffin is on his way to leave the University of is it the Splashcast? Sorry, I'm putting in the group. I think Lane Kiffin is on his way to leaving Ole Miss. Here's why. Alabama looks like they're going to be opening up for a coaching vacancy within the next 18 months. Florida could be opening up for a coaching vacancy for the next 18 months. We like LSU and Brian Kelly, but if they falter, I mean, that's 5 years. You don't normally get 5 years in the SEC. So with Lane Kiffin, if Ole Miss doesn't produce this year, I am willing to come back here at the end of the season or beginning of next season and see if there's some real momentum to Lane Kiffin going to Florida or Alabama or LSU. Those are the only 3 teams that I could see him going somewhere else. I don't see him really leaving Ole Miss to go to like Missouri or Kentucky or Tennessee. Well, no, he's already at Tennessee. But Lane Kiffin, if they do well, if they don't win, he could go. It would be tough. Now, Kentucky, on the other hand, has the longest tenured coach of mid ever, Mike Stoops. But they believe they're a basketball school. So they're happy with the results of what he's gotten. And they're playing in Kentucky. Kentucky beat them last year in Ole Miss. But I can't at the end. Lane Kiffin's team. I'm thinking through it as we talk. Lane Kiffin's teams falter at the end of the season. The beginning of the season, they're world beaters. So I'm taking Ole Miss here to beat Kentucky in Kentucky. Y'all let me know if y'all want to take that bet. Again, go to the Splashcast Instagram or go to the Splashcast YouTube or anywhere you get your social media, and we're there. And X, or formerly known as Twitter, it's at _ the Splashcast. So we're taking Ole Miss over Kentucky. Florida versus South Florida. Now, I don't have my Georgia hat on right now because I was rushing, but I'm a Georgia fan. I saw how South Florida came out last week and beat the dog crap in their season over. Beat the dog crap out of that team in their season over 34-7. I think it was Boise State they played. Nothing would make me smile more than to see South Florida upset Florida. But I think Florida's too strong. I think DJ Lagway is good. I think they have a lot of weapons. I think Florida's defense. Shout out to all of Gator Nation and y'all coming in our comments and telling me I was wrong when I was saying that Billy Napier doesn't really recruit defense. Y'all, the defense is supposed to, allegedly, I don't know, I'm not a Florida fan, but the defense is supposed to be the strength of the team. I think DJ Lagway is the strength of the team. But so you have that, you have all of those players, and they're trying to save Billy Napier's job. So with that being said, shout out to Norwood in the comments. I'm still gonna take the orange and blue guys to beat South Florida, only because it's South Florida. But y'all know we hoping and praying that they lose. And then, of course, in the battle of what I want to say, 2017, was it 17 or 19? In the battle of 2017 or 19, Bama plays University of Louisiana Monroe. Ryan Williams is not playing. They don't have a quarterback. I don't think. Tyler, whatever his name is, you better play the rookie. You better play the freshman from Texas. I think it's Brooks is his last name. UL has been known. They're kind of like Appalachian State. They have been known to just spoil FBS teams' seasons. They come through there and they will beat you. And if you don't take them seriously, they will ruin your season. And let me tell you, Kalen DeBoer. If there's one thing that will get you fired, and I mean, the seat is already hot. The seat is never hot in Alabama. As soon as you get hired, unless you win a national championship in the first 3 years, as soon as you get hired, the seat will always be warm. You are on the hot seat forever at Alabama. But let me tell you what will turn it into a raging inferno of 5th degree burns. I know it's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree, but it's going to be 5th degree burns. They're going to burn all the skin off your body if you lose the University of Louisiana Monroe. There is no pro team in Alabama. No pro nothing. Baseball, football, basketball, nothing. All they got is Bama football and Auburn football. They have college football out there. If you mess up Alabama's college football season in week 2, see, some of y'all are so young that y'all only know Alabama being great. That's the only thing y'all know is from 2000 and whatever Saban got there 6 years, 19 years ago. Some of y'all 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25-year-olds don't know about the mid-90s Alabama. Don't know about the Dennis Franchonis. Don't know about the Mike Shulas. Don't know about the dark years. Y'all don't know about those years. Oh, y'all lose the University of Louisiana Monroe. Y'all going to be in the dark times again, the dark ages. With that being said, I'm never going to pick the University of Louisiana Monroe to beat Bama. I'm going to pick Bama. But very interesting. It's very interesting. I ain't going to lie to you. It's very interesting, bro. All right, so that's what we got for the SEC. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. You know, Norwood don't like. Oh, man. Georgia's beating Austin Peay. And yes, we're playing Austin Peay. I know. Listen, I have no defense of the first 2 games scheduled for Georgia. We played Marshall and Austin Peay. All right, so let's make sure we don't miss any other games. Texas versus San Jose State. That's always going to be an interesting game to look at because you want to see what Arch Manning does as a bounce back. South Carolina State versus South Carolina. That's going to be a great game. We'll talk about that in HBCU as well. And then, of course, Virginia Tech versus Vanderbilt. I told Norwood has been telling me about Pavia for so long. And yes, he had a good season last year, but I just don't think that they're going to be great. But they can very well be on their way to being a Cinderella team if they can beat Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. They're playing in Blacksburg? In Blacksburg. Tonight at 7 o'clock, primetime slot on ACC Network. You have a chance to make a statement, Vanderbilt. Counting on you to do it. All right. Let's get into our HBCU discussions. Hampton versus Elizabeth City State out of the CAA. Hampton. You got beat by Jackson State. We told you how it was going to happen. Y'all actually played a really good game. And besides penalties and self-inflicted errors, you probably could have beat Jackson State, which tells me that y'all team is better than I thought it was. So I'm picking Hampton to beat Elizabeth City State here. Got to. This is a money game. See, there's money games in FBS football. There's also HBCU money games, too, where we play down as well. North Carolina A&T versus Central Florida. Look, A&T, take that money, invest. Take this money from this ass whooping y'all about to get and invest in this, invest in the NIL, invest in the athletic program. Go get you something. Y'all about to get y'all ass beat by Central Florida. Be nice, Central Florida. Be nice. Moving on to the MEAC. We have University of Albany versus Delaware State. We picking Albany here, but Delaware State had a really good showing versus Delaware. Again, the difference between HBCU football and other FCS top tier schools, the distance between the quality of football is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I think with the installation of discipline in our football teams, we got a lot of first year coaches, and the installation of discipline in our football programs, I think will be really good. Howard versus Temple. Hey man, look, this money. As I look at these games, we gonna call this the money game, y'all. Y'all don't get mad. Y'all don't say nothing. We need money too. So Howard, we hope y'all play okay because we all together, but y'all can get smoked by Temple. North Carolina Central versus ODU is an interesting game. I would love for Central to win. Matter of fact, I'm picking Central to win. Central with the upset over ODU. What's up? Y'all let me know in the comments if I'm tripping. And if you think I'm tripping, I don't give a damn. We are definitely going with, we go for the blacks. Y'all know. All right. Now, there's two games of the week when it comes to HBCU football. The one in the MEAC is what we call the battle for Big State. Virginia State versus Norfolk State. Both schools call themselves Big State. Little history of the rivalry. I believe Virginia State was founded first, and then the founder of Norfolk State, I believe, went to Virginia State. If I have that wrong, please don't shoot me. Just let me know in the comments. So let us know in the comments. But and so now Norfolk State is the bigger school now, but Virginia State still says we birthed y'all. So it's the battle of Big State. Mike Vick and Norfolk State versus Virginia State. Theoretically, the MEAC is supposed to beat the CIAA, but Virginia State has a really good program, and I'm picking Virginia State to win this game. No shade to the green and gold, but I'm picking Virginia State here. Next up, we have South Carolina State versus South Carolina. Now, we know South Carolina is going to beat up on South Carolina State, but Chennis Berry has a really good program over there in Orangeburg, and I expect for them to at least put up a little bit of a fight. But when the opposing team's quarterback is 6'4", 230 pounds, or whatever Lenore Sellis is, and he runs a 4.4 40, and then their top wide receiver is 6'5", and he runs a 4.3 40. Like, at this point, bro, you outmatched. I do believe from a coaching standpoint, Chennis Berry is just as good of a program builder and runner as Frank Beamer. And and that's not a shot at Frank, and that's not a shot at Chennis. We hold Frank Beamer in high esteem. I'm sorry. Is it Frank or Shane? What's Frank Beamer's son? I think it's Shane Beamer. Yeah, Shane Beamer. Sorry, Frank. I'm old, y'all. I still remember the lunch pail and Frank over there in Blacksburg. But Shane Beamer, we hold Shane Beamer in high regard over here at Splash Cast. We think he's one of the better coaches in college football. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tries to poach him away from South Carolina soon, but they love him there. And I think Chennis Berry is a good coach as well. And I think he's just as good a coach as Shane Beamer. But South Carolina going to beat y'all by 30. I would love but it's a really good game for the state of South Carolina. I wish I was there. 2 years ago, I was at the LSU versus Southern game. The game wasn't it. Everybody was happy to see the bands and have fun. It was an iconic moment for Louisiana, and I think this is the same thing for South Carolina. Moving on. I mean, you have Towson and Morgan. Morgan got the preseason All-American everything. Player of the year in defense, player of the year in offense for MEAC. They have defensive player of the year pick. Morgan is stacked, but Towson is Towson. Towson didn't look great against Norfolk. I think Morgan's defense is better than Norfolk. I'm hoping that Morgan upsets Towson, and we're going to go with Morgan, but I wouldn't be surprised if Towson beats him. All right, let's move on to the SWAC real quick, y'all. It's the money games early, so we ain't really got no great games early, so y'all don't be tripping. We're not missing anything right now. SWAC. Southwestern Athletic Conference, another HBCU conference. Jackson State versus Southern Miss. Southern Miss. Who's that? Coach Huff? Southern Miss should win this game. I'm hoping Jackson State wins this game, and Jackson State has a chance to upset Southern Miss. But I think Southern Miss will win this game. But we pick at Jackson State. We don't care. Y'all know what we ride. Y'all know where it is over here. Sound is secret to our universe. Appreciate it, Starboy. FAMU versus Florida Atlantic. It's tight. Florida Atlantic, y'all getting smoked by FAMU, y'all getting smoked. If FAMU would have had a better showing in week 1, I would have probably tried to lean towards them and talk myself into picking them, but they didn't look good. So I'm going with FAU. But the band gonna look good though. Band need to show out. Mississippi Valley State, who looked great against Southern, plays Tarleton. Now Tarleton is coming off the upset, so they just had their upset win. So I don't believe that Mississippi Valley State is going to win, but I do like the direction that the school is going in. The band has gained a lot of notoriety recently with band culture blowing up over social media. Shout out to Southern University and the Edge One as well, and all of the band content creators. But Tarleton is too strong, and Tarleton is going to beat y'all on the field like y'all band should beat them in the stands. Shouldn't even be a contest. It's tight. All right, and then, of course, we have Alcorn State versus Alabama A&M. Again, Alabama A&M is a really good school, is a really good team. A lot of people picked them as a sleeper in the East. Alcorn is trying to make themselves known and be a sleeper in the West. I'm picking Alcorn here. I think we all picked Alcorn. The only picks that are different for Norwood and I so far are, I think I picked OU versus Michigan. So we got Alcorn. We're picking Alcorn over Alabama A&M here, but I expect a really good game. And in the SWAC game of the week, this Alabama State versus Southern game is very interesting. I think Alabama State's going to win this game, but I'm going for Southern. Here's why. Southern's starting quarterback was suspended for the first game, and they lost at Central. He played against Mississippi Valley State. He got knocked out, unconscious, on a controversial hit where he was sliding but still got laid out and was out for the game, and he was unconscious, had to be stretchered off the field. The backup quarterback is pretty good for Southern, but he seems to not be able to throw the ball over the middle of the field. The only thing that he can do, appreciate it, cheat code, best mode, no cheat code. The best thing that Southern could do with their backup quarterback is like run. He's a running quarterback, and he could throw like fades, but he can't read, from what I've seen, he can't read defenses and process throwing the ball over the middle of the field like the first string quarterback can. And that's going to be the Achilles heel for Southern. Alabama State is fresh off a game where they were this close to beating UAB and upsetting UAB. I believe they were up at halftime, up in the third quarter, and then UAB kind of took off for them at the end of the third. But Andrew Body, he's the real deal. I think he had 500 total yards. He's back after being hurt last year. Southern, wow, and it's also going to be a great band battle as well. But Southern is just, I think they're too depleted. I think Alabama State, I told y'all, they're my sleeper in the SWAC East. They are my sleeper in the SWAC East. Again, they are my sleeper in the SWAC East to upset Jackson State. Southern, I would love for y'all to win, but y'all gonna have to show up and show out. Graves, got to do it. Alabama State gonna win this game though. So that is the end of the college portion. Y'all let us know. Let me know in the comments. Hit us up on the DM on what games you want to bet. As you know, I'll go over our picks. We picked Illinois over Duke, SMU over Baylor, Iowa State over Iowa, Oregon over Oklahoma State, Mizzou over Kansas, Arizona State over Mississippi State. I picked Oklahoma over Michigan. Norwood picked Michigan over Oklahoma. Ole Miss over Kentucky, Florida over South Florida, Bama over UL, Hampton over Elizabeth City, UCF over A&T, Albany over Delaware, Temple over Howard, ODU over Central, Virginia State over Norfolk State, South Carolina over SC State, Morgan over Towson, Southern Miss over Jackson State, FAU over FAMU, Tarleton over MVSU, and Alcorn versus Alabama A&M, and then Alabama State over Southern. All right, so got a couple more things we're going to talk about today. Y'all know we're going to get to the pro football. I didn't get a chance to let y'all know that we were picking the key. We picked the Eagles over the Cowboys. Y'all knew we were picking the Eagles over the Cowboys. Wasn't even close. Jalen Carter getting kicked out was crazy. We'll talk about that Monday on Monday Night Raw. Make sure y'all tune in live. Monday Night Raw. We go live every Monday. That's where we post our videos. We'll talk about the past week's news, sports news, talking points, games, all of those things. So the Eagles beat the Cowboys, and the Chargers surprisingly beat the Chiefs, despite Patrick Mahomes playing like He-Man out there, basically doing it all. The Chargers are a good team. That defense is good, and it's the first 8 weeks of the season. The Chargers are always Super Bowl contenders for 8 weeks. So they beat the Chiefs. But the Chiefs should rebound. Moving on. Let's go to the NFL. Let's go to the rest of the games. This week, we starting out with, we talking about, man. This is an Atlanta-based sports podcast, so you know we talking about first. We talking about the Falcons. The Falcons versus the Bucks. The Bucks get Vita Vea back. Didn't want to hear that because we're a running team. The Falcons right tackle situation, we have signed 111 people to compete for the right tackle situation with our top 2 right tackles going down with Caleb McGarry and Storm Norton. So Elijah Wilkinson is going to start. I'm very, very scared because that is That is Michael Penix Jr.'s blind side because he's left-handed. But at home, with the Buccaneers having Chris Godwin out, with the Buccaneers having so many players hurt as well, I'm going to take the Falcons here. It is a 1.5 point spread. So essentially, this is a toss-up. I'm going to take the Falcons to win it at the end of the game. I think our offense is going to play well. I think our defense, we are going to have an issue stopping the run. They're going to have to show me that they can stop the run, and they're going to have to show me that we can run the ball. But I'm taking the home team here. Falcons, we're going to go 28-24. All right. Bengals versus Browns. The Bengals have no defense. They have Trey Henderson, who doesn't want to be there, and then you can't name anybody else on their defense. But they have everybody on offense. And their revamped offensive line seems to be really, really good. Dylan Fairchild from UGA has stepped in and basically locked down the guard spot from day one. In preseason, I believe he only gave up 1 pressure, no sacks. So I'm going to take the Bengals here. The Browns don't have a quarterback situation settled. We don't believe in anything that they do in football related. So until they can show us, we're going to pick the team that's playing against them every single time. Every time. Dolphins, Colts. You tell me how y'all feel about Dolphins Colts, because Colts, you could argue that they don't have a quarterback either. Anthony Richardson, who has met with Anthony Richardson met with the front office and said both are open to a trade, so you could essentially say he's gone, um, unless Daniel Jones is just who we think he is, and he's just ass, and they'll end up playing two quarterbacks in pros, which means you have zero quarterbacks. Hey Colts, we gonna say this again as a Falcons fan. We gonna say this. We gonna say this. We gonna say this. Kirk Cousins is available. If you send us Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, not Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, y'all paid him too much. We can get another quarterback. We got Easton Stick on the practice squad. He played pretty well. If y'all want to send some late round draft compensation over, we'll give you Kirk. We'll solve y'all problem. All right, so we pick. But back to the game. I don't know. What y'all think about the Dolphins? I don't think the Dolphins that great. Even with all those offensive weapons, I don't think they're that great at all. So I'm going with the Dolphins. I can't pick the Colts. I can't pick the Colts. I can't pick the Colts. I can't pick them. Go with the Dolphins here because everybody's healthy. That's the only reason. Raiders, Patriots, Geno, Pete Carroll versus Vrabel and that whole team. I'm going to take the Patriots here. Here's why I'm taking the Patriots. They're at home. It's the only reason. When I can't figure out what teams to pick and who I'm going to pick, I always pick the home team. So I'm going with the Patriots here. Cardinals, Saints. Cardinals, the Saints are ass. They have nothing over there. Everybody's either old or broken. And they got a new coach. So I am going with the Cardinals here. I believe that Kyler Murray in a Superdome on turf is probably one of the more unstoppable quarterbacks when he wants to be. If they can run the ball and then and get Marvin Harrison Jr. involved, I think they'll be really, really good. This game, not for the season. But I'm picking the Cardinals here. Steelers, Jets. The Steelers they're talking about the Steelers might have a generational defense this year. I don't know about generational, but it's one of those teams. It's one of those defenses where if they were to sign Cam Hayward, which I assume that they will soon, that defense, along with being able to run the ball, can get you places, can get you far places. They got Jonnu Smith at tight end to pair with Peyton Freiermuth and Darnell. Dang, big boy. 6'8" dude out of Georgia. Darnell Washington. Who, hey man, come on over to Atlanta too. We could use you. You got Darnell Washington. So the Jets, they added new people too. They got rid of Aaron Rodgers and they brought in Justin Fields. Swap. I don't know what you call that, but it happened. That defense is still defensing. And that run game with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen is still good. They're going to be basically a running team. They're going to be a triple option team. And that's really difficult to defend. But when it's difficult to defend, the issue is the Steelers have a good defense and y'all can't throw the ball. So I'm picking the Steelers here to beat the Jets. Giants, Commanders. Game's going to be closer than y'all think. We think there's going to be some positive regression with the Commanders. They caught everybody off guard. The Giants possibly will have the best pass rush in the league this year. So the Giants should be pretty good. Defensive line wise, I don't know about offensive wise. I don't know if they can score enough points. But the defense is going to put them in the chance to win. The Washington Commanders, I got them winning this game by a game-winning field goal. I think the Giants defense is going to play their hearts out. They're going to be difficult to block. But Washington should win this game. Going with Washington. Panthers, Jaguars. Who season is more important right now? Is this season more important for Trevor Lawrence? Or is this season more important for Bryce Young? Bryce Young, to me, I think is still a year away from being on the hot seat as a quarterback. I think the advantage of being drafted into an inept organization is everybody views the organization as being responsible for your midness. Look at Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence has had 3 coaches in 4 years. Urban Meyer went there and was chasing everything but the football. So I think that gives you a year. I think Trevor Lawrence has burned out all of his potential. He's burned out all of his excuses, especially with that second contract that he signed him to. He has to be good right now. How do you show that you're good right now? By beating the teams that you're supposed to win. Jacksonville is supposed to beat the Panthers. They're supposed to beat the Panthers. Y'all better do it. I'm picking Jacksonville over the Panthers because I need Jacksonville to beat the Panthers so that the Falcons can have a better chance of winning the division. Titans, Broncos. I like Cam Ward. I like the Titans. I like everything that they're doing over there. Sean Payton, as much as I despise him as a human being in the NFL, is a damn good coach. Bo Nix is exactly who he needs to be for Sean Payton. That is exactly who Sean Payton needed to get. So Bo Nix, Sean Payton in Mile High, in Denver, Titans, Cam Ward, his first start. I got to go Broncos here. The Broncos defense is just as good as the Titans defense, and the Broncos offense is leaps and bounds ahead of the Titans offense. But y'all look out now. The Titans have Eric Elamanar, who is really good, a really good rookie they got from Stanford. They have Calvin Ridley. They have a couple tight ends. They just need another receiver. And if they can step up, I think Cam Ward will at least score some points and move the ball down the field. But they're going to lose, though. Broncos. 49ers, Seahawks. Man, I don't know. We don't know nothing about the 49ers. We don't know nothing about the 49ers, dog. They ain't got no receivers. My co-host said Ricky Pearsall is one of the best wide receivers of his draft. So y'all make sure that y'all let him know that he was crazy for that. He said he was better than Ladd McConkey. 49ers, Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are a more settled organization. They have their coach, who's a very good defensive coach. They have Scam Darnold. We don't know if Scam Darnold is still a scam or not. They have a lot of turnover with Jackson Smith and Jigba. They lost DK Metcalf. They lost Tyler Lockett. They did add Cooper Kupp, who should be comfortable in his role as a number 2. Again, when I can't pick who I think is going to win the game, and Christian McCaffrey, I think he's hurt or may not be hurt. It's kind of hurt. Always hurt. I'm going to pick Seahawks here. I think the Seahawks going to get it done. I think Seahawks will get it done here. Lions, Packers. Could this be the game of the week? You could probably say this is the game of the week other than Eagles, Cowboys. Lions, Packers. Micah Parsons over there in Green Bay after getting traded by Dallas, trying to make his debut. He did have to get an epidural shot in his back. Maybe Jerry Jones wasn't tripping. Actually, Jerry Jones was tripping because Micah told him his back hurt, and they said, throw some dirt on it. But I digress. The Packers seem to always be a favorite to be a dark horse for the Super Bowl. I think they've been a dark horse for the last 2 or 3 years, and they always come up short in the second round. It doesn't help that you were part of the best division in football last year. Somebody went 14-3 and came in second. So, and the Lions have all of the players, all of the talent. They have their coach as well, but they lost both of their coordinators and a lot of their staff. Antoine Randall was very instrumental in their receivers developing. Amon-Ra St. Brown praises him all the time. They lost Aaron Glenn. They lost their offensive coach to Ben Johnson to the rival, I guess, Chicago Bears. So if they can keep the continuity, because I think they hired from within, if they can keep the continuity going, the Lions on paper are supposed to be the better team. If Micah Parsons plays, I'm taking the Packers because the Packers are going to be the thing for the Packers is they're going to have to go to the waiver wire and probably replace Kenny Clark, who went over in that trade to Dallas, because they do need to stop the run. And I hope Devontae Wyatt steps up in his 3rd year. But they have one of the younger defenses in the league, man, if not the youngest. I think they got the 2nd youngest. Oh, they may have the youngest defense, and then the Eagles have the youngest roster or something like that. But Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt, Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons Jr., just to name a few. I didn't even name everybody else. That defense has a chance to be fire. Fire if they can stop the run. With that being said, I'm taking the Packers over the Lions. Y'all let me know if y'all want to bet it. Y'all let me know if y'all want to bet it. Taking the Packers over the Lions. Texans versus Rams. I'm taking the Texans here, even though it's in LA, because Matt Stafford has a back injury and did not practice or even really play all preseason, and now he's going to start. And that Texans defense, Matt Stafford already couldn't. He was already stationary before, and now he's definitely a sitting duck. So with DeMeco Ryans, who's a blitzing linebacker, head coach type coach, and even though the Rams got Devontae, and Puka, and they have a decent, they actually have a good offense and a good defense, I'm still taking the Texans here. Wouldn't be mad if y'all took the Rams though. And then finally, last two games. Ravens, I don't know. All of these games are game of the week. So Ravens, Bills. Ravens. Didn't they add DeAndre Hopkins? Zay Flowers, Rashard Bateman. I think Isaiah Likely is out because of his foot. So it's Mark Andrews, which is a hell of a tight end in itself. They added in the draft Mike Green. They added from UGA Malachi Starks already to that defense. That defense is going to be hellacious. And then I haven't even talked about Lamar or Derrick Henry. And the Buffalo Bills are basically called the Buffalo Josh Allens. And while Josh Allen is a great quarterback, I don't know if he's MVP, but he's always a perennial MVP candidate. I don't know if Keon Coleman and the rest of that receiver group is good enough to beat the Ravens. Now, if this was in December in the cold, then yeah, that's always an advantage. But in September, I think the Ravens going to come in there and be a problem. I got the Ravens winning by 10 points. And finally, Vikings Bears. We get to see the new look Bears debut. Kind of the new look Vikings debut. No Scam Darnold, JJ McCarthy. They brought Adam Thielen back, but they also have Justin Jefferson, who has a hamstring injury. So JJ McCarthy has looked good in the preseason of all the tape. Now, I understand that all teams only release good tape. Nobody's going to release bad tape of their quarterback, but he looked pretty good. Now, they are missing Jordan Addison, who is their number 2 receiver. So now you have Thielen as the number 1. As the number 2 receiver instead of the 3. That's going to be a big loss. I'm going to take the Bears in this one. I have no reason why other than injuries for the Vikings. That's it. But I'm taking the Bears in upset. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of all the games. We picked all the HBCU games. We picked all of the ACC, all of the college football FBS games, Power 5. We picked all of the NFL games. We can't wait to see y'all on Monday night to go over everything that happened this weekend. Remember, go to partyof2brewcrew.com. Go to Party of 2 Brew Crew on Instagram. Go to Party of 2 Brew Crew everywhere you get all of your social media as well. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Peace. We out of here.